أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. Now we see over here that Musa alayhi salam, he was in Egypt. He was taken out of Egypt, brought into Madian. And now for 8 years, and if he was good, he would be there for 10 years, according to the contract. He would be looking after what? Sheep. Where was he? In the palace of Fir'aun. And now where is he? As a shepherd. His life completely changed. But he accepted it. He didn't say, no way, you want me to become a shepherd? I come from the palace of Fir'aun. I was raised over there. No. He realized that he was dealing with a righteous man. Those people needed help. And he accepted. And he was being given a great opportunity. He was going to be safe over there. So yes, it was a great downfall, in worldly terms, from the palace, now a shepherd looking after sheep and goats, but still he accepted it. And we see that this was part of the training that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wished to give Musa alayhi salam. The Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said that Allah has not sent a prophet except that he was a shepherd. Every prophet of Allah, who was he? He was a shepherd. The companions, they asked the Prophet ﷺ, and you? The Prophet ﷺ said, yes, I used to herd sheep with compensation from the people of Makkah. Even he would herd sheep. So we see that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He trained His prophets how? By making them shepherds. Why? What training do you get as a shepherd that you cannot get from any other work? Patience. Dealing with those beings who do not listen, who do not understand, who do not speak. You give them many instructions, but it's possible they don't get anything you tell them. What do you develop? Patience, tolerance. And if you think about it, a shepherd, he is busy taking care of his flock from sunrise to sunset. Isn't it so? It's quite possible that some sheep, they get lost, or they don't obey, or they don't do what they're supposed to do. They might end up fighting with one another. You can't tell them, come on, get to work, hurry up, we have to go, I'm tired. You can't say anything like that to them. What does it develop in you? Patience. We also see that being a shepherd, it develops the sense of responsibility in a person. A person cannot take his flock somewhere and then go take a nap for 3-4 hours. He cannot do that. He can never just say, okay, let the animals go themselves, I'll be home today. No. He cannot say, I'll sleep in today, let the animals be, so what if they don't go out to eat one day? No. It develops a sense of responsibility. Because these animals, they require a lot of work. They require a lot of attention from the shepherd. It's a full-time job. The shepherd cannot say, I'm off for a week, see you next Monday. No. He cannot do that. He has to be alert during the day, he has to be alert during the night, he has to take care of them, he has to feed them, he has to take them out, he has to bring them back in, he has to milk them, look after their young ones. He develops a sense of responsibility as well. Similarly, being a shepherd, it develops humility and simplicity in a person. Humility and simplicity. Because a shepherd has to live a very simple life. If he has to walk around with his flock, how much really can he carry with himself? Think about it. How much can he dress up? How much can he really take care of his clothes? He develops a very simple life. He learns how to make do with minimum things even. With only a few things even. And this is a very, very important quality if a person wishes to accomplish something that is great in his life. Because as you go out with the sheep, can you dress up in very nice clothes? No, you can't. There you are in your nice clothes, and there the sheep run off, through a puddle, and all the water splashed on you, your clothes gone, finished. You put on some very nice shoes, and there you step in a puddle, and they poo on you, or they pee on you or something, and that's it, your clothes, your shoes gone. Right? You cannot be excessive when it comes to being a shepherd. You have to live a very simple life. Then also, it develops the sense of protection. in the shepherd. Because he's always on guard. He becomes very, very protective about his flock. He's constantly checking. Are they all here? Are they all in? Are they all out? Is every single one of them okay or not? And it also develops bravery. Because imagine you're out, in the open land with this flock of sheep. You're on your own. If a wolf comes, can you just run away leaving your flock behind? You can't do that. You have to protect your sheep. You have to figure out how to chase the wolf away. Right? So it develops confidence, it develops bravery, it develops the sense of protection and well-wishing. And all of these characteristics are very, very important for someone who wishes to guide people. For someone who wishes to help people. Because when you're trying to help people, you will meet with such people who are very ignorant. You instruct them, it's as though you never said anything to them. You advise them once, it's as though you never spoke to them. You tell them the instructions, it's as though they never heard. Right? It happens. So at that time, should you just say, I quit, and that's it, I cannot deal with you anymore, I've had it? No. The Prophet of Allah cannot do that. A person who is responsible for guiding other people cannot do that. So this training is essential. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He took Musa alayhi salam out of Egypt, brought him to Madian so that he could get this training. Because think about it, could Musa alayhi salam get this training in Egypt? Would anyone allow him to become a shepherd? No, impossible. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala took him out of that place, brought him here so that he could get this training. And besides, when a person leaves his house, he gets the opportunity to travel. And traveling teaches many, many things to a person as well. When you're at home, in your own city, amongst your own people, in a very protected environment, you don't get to learn many, many things. You're not exposed to many things, which you may be exposed to once you leave your house and travel. This is why Imam Shafi'i, he said travel. For in travel there are 5 benefits. First of all, relief of adversity. How? We think if you travel, it becomes very difficult. But he said when a person travels, relief of adversity. How? Think about it. When you're at home, every single day you say the same to people. You see the same things. You have to do the same work, right? And that itself sometimes becomes an adversity. Isn't it so? When you have to wash the same dishes every single day, don't you hit a point where it begins to bother you? When you have to vacuum the same floor every single day, every other day, doesn't it bother you eventually? And sometimes when you're at home, when you're at your workplace every single day, it develops this kind of boredom in you. You need a change of environment, a change of people, a change of work. So when you travel, it brings relief of adversity. Secondly, earning of livelihood. Because when you travel, you get many, many opportunities. You get to see many things that you never saw before. Many times it happens that you travel to another country and you buy things that you cannot buy in your home country. Isn't it so? Knowledge is a third thing that a person learns when he travels. Etiquette and noble companionship. So Imam Shafi'i, he said travel. And we see that Musa a.s., he was made to travel at this point. And if he did not travel, if he did not get this training through being a shepherd, it would be very, very difficult for him to look after the Bani Israel. The Bani Israel were very difficult people to deal with. Just imagine if from the palace, he took the Bani Israel out of Egypt and took them across the sea into the desert. And here he tells them, eat this food, and they say, we don't want this food, bring us something different. What would Musa a.s. do if he had not dealt with sheep? And he tells them, go enter the city. They say, no, we're sitting right here. You and your Lord go fight. How would he deal with them if he had not dealt with sheep? So this training was essential for him, especially because he was going to deal with who? With Bani Israel. And they were not an easy people. What does it show to us? That if life changes all of a sudden, circumstances change all of a sudden, and you feel as though you were here, you were at another point in life, and now all of a sudden you're somewhere else, You might feel as though, you're suffering and you're suffering from a great adversity, but there is some benefit in that. Look at where Musa a.s. was in the palace of Fir'aun and now where he is as a shepherd in Madian. His life drastically changed, but there was wisdom behind that. There was great benefit behind that. And if a person trusts Allah, if a person has positive thinking, good hope in Allah, then Allah will also help him. فَلَمَّا قَضَى مُوسَى الْأَجَلَ. Then when Musa a.s. he completed the term. Which term? The term that the father of the two girls had set for him, a minimum of 8 years. So how long did he actually stay? Because he left it to Musa a.s. We learn in Sahih Bukhari that Sa'id ibn Jubayr, he said, a Jew from the people of Hira, he asked me, which of the two terms did Musa fulfill? So I said, I do not know, and I will go to the scholar of the Arabs and ask him. And who did he mean by that? Ibn Abbas radhiyallahu anhu. This was after the Prophet ﷺ. So I went to Ibn Abbas and I asked him, and he said he fulfilled the longer and better of them. And which was that? 10 years. So after 10 years, Musa a.s., what happened? وَسَارَ بِأَهْلِهِ. And he traveled with his wife. Sara yasiru sayr. What does that mean? To travel. So he traveled with his wife. Meaning he didn't stay in Madian anymore, he left from there. He didn't stay over there anymore, but rather he left. And he left with who? With his wife. What does it show? He took his family, he took his wife from Madian along with him. Because it shows that a husband, he can take his wife wherever he wants, once they're married. So the family of the girl cannot say, no, you must stay in this city, and you must stay in this country, and you must not go to that country, and you must not go to that city, and you must not move to that house. No. They cannot interfere in this matter. It's up to the husband. Wherever he wishes to go, if he wishes to move to another city, he wishes to move to another country, it's his choice. And he has the right to take his wife with him. And the parents of the girl, they cannot interfere. They cannot set any more conditions. They can set conditions at the time of nikah, but afterwards, no. So the father of the girl, he set a condition that, you stay over here with me for 8 years, at least. And after that, you're free. So Musa a.s., after the term was complete, he didn't stay over there any longer, but rather he moved from there. And he moved from there with who? With his wife. So وَسَارَ بِأَهْلِهِ. He took his wife along with him. What happened? آنَسَ. He perceived, he sensed, مِنْ جَانِبِ الطُّورِ. From the side of the mountain. As he was walking by the side of the mountain, he sensed نَارًا, a fire. قَالَ. He said, لِأَهْلِهِ. To his wife, أُمْكُثُوا. Stay here. It is said that Musa a.s. and his wife, they were traveling on a cold, dark night, and he had also lost his way. So when he noticed the fire in the mountain, he wished to go and see if there were any people he could find some guidance from them. And he also wanted some fire so that he could warm up his family. So, Umkuthu, you stay here. Inni anastu nara. Indeed, I have sensed a fire. Let me go there. لَعَلِّي آتِيكُم مِّنْهَا. So that I can come to you from it. بِخَبَرٍ. With some news, some information as to where to go. And if not that, at least I can, أو جذوة, I can bring a firebrand, من النار, of the fire. Jadwa, from the root letters Jim, Dal, Waw. And jadwa is used for a burning coal whose flame has extinguished, but it's still burning from the inside. You understand? A burning coal, the flame has extinguished, but it's still burning from inside. Have you ever burnt a coal? Barbecue, anything like that? What happens initially? There's fire, flame. But then what happens? The flames, they die out. But still you see the coals, they're all red. They're burning from inside. This is what jadwa is. So at least I can bring you a jadwa min an-nar, of the fire, لَعَلَّكُمْ تَصْطَلُونَ, so that you can warm yourselves. What do we see over here? Again, Musa a.s. being concerned about others. He doesn't want to go to the fire just to see what it is, just to go have some fun in case there are people over there. No. He wants to go to find some information so that he can take his family and reach the destination as soon as possible. And if not that, at least he can get some fire so that his family, his wife, can warm up. He was concerned for others, even when he himself was in difficulty. Even when he himself was in a challenging situation. Even he himself was traveling. Even if he himself was tired, he was concerned about who? About others. Typically what happens, we are very concerned about others, but as long as we're okay, we're comfortable. But as soon as we feel that we have to do the work and other people are sitting, then what happens? We say, you go do the work, I'll sit here. But Musa a.s. is the other way around. His wife, she sits, and he goes, gets the flame. He goes and gets the information. Similarly, we see that many times men, they will go around help other people. But if their own wife needs help, if their own wife is sick, if their own wife is tired and exhausted, they will not offer the help over there. We see that Musa a.s., he is helping who? His wife. فَلَمَّا أَتَاهَا, then when he reached it, he came to it. He came to the fire, he approached it. نُودِيَ, he was called out. مِنْ شَاطِئِ الْوَادِ الْأَيْمَنِ, from the right side of the valley. مِنْ شَاطِئِ, شَاطِئِ from the root letters. Sheen, Ta, Hamza. And shati is one of the two sides of something. It is one of the two sides of something. So he was called from one side of Al-Wadi, the valley, and which side was that? Al-Aymani, the right side of the valley. So you understand? Shati, one of the two sides of something. So one of the two sides of what? Al-Wadi, the valley. So which side was it? Al-Aymani, the right one. And he was called out fil buq'atil mubarakati, in a blessed spot. So he was called from the right side of the valley in a blessed spot. So the voice was coming from where? From the blessed spot. And remember, we learned earlier that anburika man finnar, that's where the voice was coming from. Min ash-shajarati, from the tree. What does it mean by that? That he was called out from the tree. The voice came from where? From the tree, which was situated where? In the right side of the valley, in a blessed spot. And what was said? Ayya Musa, that O Musa, inni ana Allah Rabbul Alameen, that indeed I am Allah, the Lord of the worlds. That the one who is addressing you, the one who is calling you out, the one who is speaking to you is who? The Lord of all that exists. If you think about it, if a person is talking to another person, okay, it's a conversation. But imagine a person is being spoken to by who? By Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. What a great honor. And it was bestowed upon who? Musa alayhi salam. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala spoke to him directly. وَكَلَّمَ اللَّهُ مُوسَى تَكْلِيمًا. And we see that Musa alayhi salam, he was traveling with his wife. Some say that he was traveling towards Egypt. Why? Because his family was still there and he wished to go meet them at least. He wasn't going to go publicize himself. No, he was going to secretly go meet his mother, brother, family, and then come back. Allahu A'lam what exactly his plan was, but he was traveling. But what happened? On the way, he got lost. On the way, he spotted the fire, and he went to the mountain to get the fire. It might seem like an accident, but it was not an accident. It was part of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's planning. We see that anything that happens in a believer's life, it's not an accident. It's not a coincidence. It's a part of what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has planned for him. Either he can benefit from it, he can learn from it, he can be patient, he can be grateful and earn reward, or he can be angry, he can be upset, he can become furious, he can become impatient and lose the reward and learn nothing from it. We see that Musa a.s., when he lost his way, we don't find him complaining. Oh, what is this and why have we lost the way and it's because of you, you're too slow. And no, nothing like that. He's very patient. He accepts it. And as a result, look at the great benefit that he receives. He receives prophethood. And it's a part of the plan of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And then what happened? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala addressed him. He spoke to him. And part of what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said to him was, وَأَنْ أَلْقِ عَصَاكَ, and that you throw down your staff. Alqi, lam qafiya. Ilqa is to throw something in such a way that it's in front of you. You can still see it. It's not to throw something so far away that you cannot see it anymore, you have no idea where it went. No. It is to throw, but in a way that it still is visible to you. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said to him, وَأَنْ أَلْقِ عَصَاكَ, and throw your staff. فَلَمَّا رَآهَا, then when he saw it, when Musa a.s. saw the staff, تَهْتَزُّ, it was moving, it was quivering, كَأَنَّهَا جَانٍ, as if it was a snake. We have done all of these words before, this is why I'm not going to analyze them again. Alright? So he saw the staff moving as if it was a snake. What happened? وَلَّا مُدْبِرًا, he turned away, showing his back. وَلَمْ يُعَقِّبْ, and he did not turn back. He just ran away, fleeing away, and he didn't even look back. He did not even return. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala called Musa alayhi salam, Ya Musa, aqbil. O Musa, advance, come forward. Aqbil, qaf ba lam, qabl before, and iqbal is to come forward, to advance, to come. So aqbil, advance, approach. Wala takhaf, and do not fear. Do not fear the snake, because innaka minal aminin, indeed you are of those who are secure. Now we have learned so far that Musa a.s. was a very strong man. Wasn't he? He was a very bold man. He was very courageous. He was very strong that when he hit the man, he died. And he had the strength to travel for 8 days on foot. And when he arrived, he had the strength to water a flock of sheep. That shows that a person is extremely strong. But when he sees a snake, he's afraid. Why? He was a human being after all. He was a human being after all. And this is something that we must understand as well. That just because a person is very strong in one way and weak in another way, we completely dismiss them. And we say they're so weak, they don't have any confidence at all. The thing is that a person may be strong in one way, but he may be weak in another way. Because human beings are not perfect. Human beings are weak. None of the qualities, none of the traits that human beings possess are perfect. Only Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's qualities, His traits are perfect. Like for example, if a person is doing something very important, we expect that, they should be very intelligent, they should be very, very smart in every aspect. No, they're human beings. It's possible that they're very intelligent in one way, but in another way, they don't know what to do. Like it's quite possible a person is very intelligent when it comes to dealing with children, but when it comes to cooking and cleaning, they don't know a thing. It's quite possible. And we should remember that after all, they are human beings. So Musa a.s. also, he was very strong, but when he saw the snake, he was afraid. And he was made to go through this experience because he was being prepared for what was to come later on. Because we might wonder that why didn't Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala just simply tell him that when you throw your staff, it's going to turn into a snake, don't be afraid. No. Musa a.s. was made to feel scared. Why? He was being prepared for the future. That he was going to go face Fir'aun. He was going to go and face the magic of the magicians. So in the future when he sees all of these things, he must not become afraid. In Surah Al-Naml, ayah 10, what did we learn earlier? That Ya Musa la takhaf, inni la yakhafu ladayyal mursalun. So this was one miracle. The other one, usluk yadaka fi jaybika. Insert your hand into the opening of your garment. Usluk, sin lam kaf, to insert something into another. So insert your hand fi jaybik. And jayb is the opening of the garment. Last time I explained that some people thought that the opening of the garment is, where the collar is. Okay? That would be possible only if a person is wearing a stitched garment. And remember that earlier, what did people wear? Shawls, right? So the upper garment was just a shawl that a person would wrap around his upper body. Alright? So the opening of the garment would be somewhere by the chest. Okay? So, usluk yadaka fi jaybika, insert your hand into the opening of your garment. And when you take it out, تخرج, it will come out بيضاء, white. من غير سوء, not from any illness. It will not be white because of leprosy. It will not be white because it's on fire. You will not have any burning sensation. You will not feel any pain. No, من غير سوء. وَضْمُمْ, and join. Udmum from the root letters ضاد, ميم, ميم, and dam is to join two or more things together. So join what? إِلَيْكَ, to yourself, جَنَاحَكَ, your side. Join to yourself your side, مِنَ الرَّهْبِ, out of the fear. What does it mean by that? That وَضْمُمْ إِلَيْكَ جَنَاحَكَ مِنَ الرَّهْبِ. Janah, as you know, is used for the wing of a bird. Isn't it so? Janah is the wing of a bird. But for a human being, janah applies to what? His side or his arm, right? The side of the body or his arm. So, وَضْمُمْ إِلَيْكَ جَنَاحَكَ, join your side to yourself, meaning your arm to yourself, مِنَ الرَّهْبِ, out of fear. Meaning whenever you're afraid, what should you do? What should you do? Join your hand to your body. Join your arm to your body. Why? To protect yourself from fear. In any situation when you're afraid, what should you do? Join your janah, and Al-Qurtubi said, ila sadrik, to your chest. Meaning put your hand on your heart. Whenever you're afraid, put your hand where? Onto your chest. And this is a skill, this is a technique that Musa a.s. was taught so that he would not be afraid. Think about it. If you're very scared and you put your hand on your heart like this, what happens? Don't you calm down? Right? Don't you calm down? Your heart is thumping, like really, really hard. You're nervous, you're worried, and you put your hand close to yourself, you put your hand on your body, on your chest, or even if you collect yourself together, what happens? You calm down. Like for example, when you're angry, you sit down. Don't you calm down? Isn't it so? If you're very, very worried and concerned, and you sit down, what happens? You calm down. And if you keep standing and walking around and looking here and there, you only increase in your anxiety and nervousness. So this was the technique that Musa a.s. was taught, that how he should calm down in situations of fear. And others say that it means that put your arm to the side of your body, or your leg, join it together with the other leg, hold yourself together. So whatever it was, Allahu A'lam. But basically, it was a technique that he was taught in order to lessen his fear. And we see that the Prophet ﷺ also, what did he do every night? That before going to sleep, he would recite the Mu'awwidhatayn, he would blow them, and he would wipe his hands over his body. Right? And this actually works as well. That when you're afraid, when you're nervous, when you're anxious, if you put yourself together, you sit calmly, you hold yourself together, you tend to calm down. So فَذَانِكَ, these two, ذَانِكَ, what is ذَانِكَ? Ism ishara. Which one? قَرِيب or بَعِيد? Ba'id. So فَذَانِكَ, these two, meaning the staff and the hand, these are burhanani, two evidences, two clear proofs, مِن رَبِّكَ, from your Lord, إِلَى فِرْعَوْنَ, to Fir'aun, وَمَلَئِهِ, and his nobles, إِنَّهُمْ كَانُوا قَوْمًا فَاسِقِينَ, indeed there are people who are sinful, so a message must be sent to them, so you go with these two signs and deliver the message to them. What was the reaction of Musa a.s.? قَالَ, he said, رَبِّي, O my Lord, إِنِّي قَتَلْتُ مِنْهُمْ نَفْسًا, I killed a person from them. I killed an Egyptian man. فَأَخَافُ أَن يَقْتُلُونِي, so I fear that they're going to kill me. How can I go back to them? And besides, وَأَخِي هَارُونَ, and my brother Harun, هُوَ أَفْصَحُ مِنِّي لِسَانًا, he is more eloquent than me in speech. أفصح, from the root letters, فَصَادْحَ, فَصَاحَ. And that means to be eloquent, to be fluent in one's speech. فَصَحَ al-laban is basically to remove the cream off the milk. You must be wondering how. Today, even in some areas, in some countries, you get milk which is unpasteurized. So what do you have to do? You have to boil it yourself. And as you boil it, what happens? The cream, it rises to the surface. It settles at the top. And sometimes it may happen with you that you get a cup of tea, you let it sit for a few moments, and what happens at the top? What happens? There's cream, right? So, فَصَحَ اللَّبَنِ is to remove the cream from the milk. Okay? To remove the cream from the milk. And if you don't remove it, what happens? As you're drinking, then you get bits and pieces of cream. And it makes it so disgusting sometimes, right? Sometimes people cannot tolerate it. Some people don't mind, other people cannot tolerate it at all. So we see that once the cream is removed, then the milk becomes clear. Isn't it so? And as you drink it, it comes very easily in your mouth and it goes very easily down your throat. So, fasaha is used for eloquent, fluent, proficient speech that is free of any extra words that would make the kalam heavy, that would make the kalam unpleasant. For instance, sometimes people have certain words that they keep using in their normal speech. For example, like. They will keep saying like after every 2-3 words. What happens? It makes a kalam very heavy. Isn't it? You want to remove all the likes and then read the sentence. And then see what they have to say. The other day I was reading a passage in which somebody had put like literally after every 2-3 words. And I was trying to figure out what they were saying, by removing all the likes. So when there are extra words in the kalam, it makes a kalam very heavy. So fasaha is to be eloquent, to be fluent. So Musa a.s. said that وَأَخِي هَارُونَ هُوَ أَفْصَحُ مِنِّي لِسَانًا. My brother Harun is more eloquent than me in speech. فَأَرْسِلْهُ مَعِيَ رِدْءًا. So send him with me as a rid'an, as a supporter, as a helper. Rid'an from the root letters Ra, Dal, Hamza. And rid is literally that from which support is taken. Like for example, a stick, a staff, somebody's hand. It becomes a means of support for you. And from that, rid is used for such a helper who is always with you and is also under you. Like for example, for an old person to walk, what do they need? A stick. Right? They need a stick. Now can they use a stick just for some time? No, they need a stick all the time. And the stick is under their control. Or for example, they need a person to help them. Now the person is under them. And they're with them all the time. So this is who rid'an is. A supporter who is always with you, but he is under you. So send my brother Harun as a supporter with me. يُصَدِّقُنِي, he will confirm me. Meaning whatever I will say, he will confirm my truthfulness. Because one is that I say something, and the other is that when I say something, somebody confirms me. That would make my speech more effective. إِنِّي أَخَافُ أَن يُكَذِّبُونَ. I fear that they will deny me. Once there were some people who were discussing amongst one another that who has done his brother the greatest favor. So people were saying, oh, this person, that person. Aisha radiallahu anha, she was listening and she said, Musa alayhi salam. How? That Musa alayhi salam, he requested for his brother, and his brother, he was made a prophet of Allah. People help their brothers, set up their business. They lend them their cars. They find a wife for them, right? They help them with their job. They help them with their career, with their school, with their homework, so on and so forth. But Musa a.s. he helped his brother how? That his brother was made a prophet. This teaches us a very, very important lesson. That we should take our siblings along with us as well. Many times we're only concerned about our children, about our spouses, but we should also be concerned about who? Our siblings. قَالَ Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, سَنَشُدُّ عَضُدَكَ بِأَخِيكَ. We will strengthen your arm through your brother. سَنَشُدُّ. Sheen, dal, dal. Shidda. Shadid. We will strengthen. We will make firm. We will make strong. عَضُدَكَ. عَضُد is upper arm. And the upper arm of a person, what does it reflect? His strength. If a person wants to show their strength, what do? They flex their muscles. Right? So قَالَ سَنَشُدُّ عَضُدَكَ بِأَخِيكَ. We are going to strengthen your arm with your brother, meaning we will make you strong with your brother. وَنَجْعَلُ لَكُمَا سُلْطَانًا. And we will make for you sultanan, and authority. We will provide you with such authority that فَلَا يَصِلُونَ إِلَيْكُمَا. They will not be able to reach you. Who? Fir'aun and his people, they will not be able to reach you with any harm. If you think about it, was it difficult for Fir'aun to kill Musa alayhi salam? No. He could just easily have said, kill him. That's it. And people would have gotten together and immediately killed Musa alayhi salam. But there was something that prevented Fir'aun from killing Musa alayhi salam. What was that? It was a special sultan, the special authority that Musa alayhi salam had been given by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So, وَنَجْعَلُ لَكُمَا سُلْطَانًا, we will provide you with such authority that فَلَا يَصِلُونَ إِلَيْكُمَا, they will not be able to reach you with any harm. بِآيَاتِنَا, with our ayat, أَنْتُمَا, you two, وَمَنِ اتَّبَعَكُمَا, and whoever follows you two, الْغَالِبُونَ, are the victorious. Meaning, go, you two, with our ayat, and whoever follows you, then they will be غالبون, victorious. بِآيَاتِنَا أَنْتُمَا وَمَنِ اتَّبَعَكُمَا الْغَالِبُونَ. This has been understood in two ways. That first of all, this is a new sentence. That go with our signs you will be غالبون. Secondly, it's connected with sultan. That we will give you such sultan through our ayat, that you and whoever follows you will be victorious. That the miracle that Musa a.s. was given, it was so powerful that Fir'aun was afraid to do anything against Musa a.s. Isn't it so? So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bestowed him with this miracle for a reason. It in a way protected Musa a.s. that Fir'aun was unable to harm him. So what do we see over here? That Musa a.s.'s dua, it was accepted. Harun a.s. was made a prophet, Musa a.s. was given such miracles, and as a result he was given strength so that he would be able to convey the message. We learn in Surah Maryam, ayah 53, وَوَهَبْنَا لَهُ مِنْ رَحْمَتِنَا أَخَاهُ هَارُونَ نَبِيًّا, and we gave him out of our mercy his brother Harun as a prophet. Now the following ayat are about how Musa a.s. when he got to Fir'aun, when he reached him, and when he delivered the message to him, how is it that Fir'aun reacted? So we see, so far we have learnt about the part of the life of Musa a.s. before prophethood, then when he was given prophethood, and now the third part is after prophethood, that with prophethood, what challenges he faced. We'll listen to the recitation of these ayat and we'll move on.